What's the fastest you've wiped a smirk off of someone's face? 4. We were buying an iPad for our teenage daughter a few years ago. At the time, we thought we'd buy it from a shop. There was, and possibly still is, a UK computer chain called iStore. They aren't part of Apple, just picked a name that made it obvious what they specialized in. My daughter and wife were leading the purchase. They'd picked the model, and even selected a case. But at the till, the idiot decided that what iStore really needed was the revenue from an extra warranty. So he asked my wife, who said no thanks. Then he asked her again, going through a little speech. Again she said no thanks. I was standing about 15 away, very much not at the till with them. Then he turned to me, and asked, "Are you sure she doesn't need a warranty?" And I replied, to my wife, "Do you want to go? We can buy it on Amazon." My wife agreed with me. Maybe the salesman learnt about assuming that the woman could be overruled that day. The sales guy looked at me open-mouthed, and I said, "You've lost the sale." She was the customer. 5. A friend of mine told a story about his dad going to a very posh school in the UK. This was many years ago, and he said his dad was in the classroom and there was some very strict teacher, in his gown, reading the register, and he had just yelled at some other boy for failing to call him doctor. He gave a long speech about how people must be addressed by their correct title as he has earned that respect, all with a large smirk, and then he moved on to the young man next to him who the story is about. He called out the young man's last name and waited to hear the reply that he is present. Suffolk. There was a pause, and the teacher repeated himself, Suffolk. Still no reply. The teacher walked round to the boy who was grinning at him. "Why aren't you replying, Suffolk?" he demanded. The young man replied, "Because you have got my title wrong, Doctor. I am the Earl of Suffolk, so the correct address is my lord." Apparently this was true. My friend's father was at school with the Earl of Suffolk, and it did indeed wipe the smirk off the teacher's face.